Ladies and gentlemen, not only Jurgen Klopp is pulling his hamstring off the back of a mad game between Liverpool and Spurs. What a bottle job from Spurs once again. But Jurgen Klopp has a lot to say about Chelsea. And you know what? Normally I get very angry and annoyed when this guy speaks because sometimes he's talking a lot of nonsense. But in this case, I think he's spot on, I truly think he's spot on.
All right. Here we go, back again on the other side of the coin.
All right, welcome back to the other side of the coin, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get stuck into this particular piece of news. The interview that Jurgen Klopp had, and he had something to say about Chelsea. I think it's very interesting. We understand what has been said and try and give our opinion based on that. And as always, I would love to see what you guys have to say about this in the comment section. Jurgen Klopp on Chelsea. I feel a little bit for Chelsea, but it's also good to see that you can't just bring top players together and it works out. You cannot have two dressing rooms. You have to create relationships. Jurgen Klopp happy that Chelsea are folding, but I think when you apply context, what he's trying to say is that he's glad that just by throwing money, you can't just turn things around. Not in this modern day and age. You do need to build a squad. Let's see what he what he had to say about this particular situation. Let me just bring this up.
It's crazy. It was always crazy. Sort of football is crazy. It was always crazy. It means that everybody expects, okay, Lou is not doing well. Means they need 5, 6, 7 players bringing in. So I feel a little bit for Chelsea, to be honest, because it's not going well. I think they're a top team, but on the other side, it's good. It's good to see you cannot just bring top players together and think it works out. You have to build a team, and that's what the guys there obviously underestimated and gave their coaches a nearly impossible job to do. You cannot have 2 dressing rooms. You cannot train on 2 pitches. You have to create relationships. You have to create team spirit. And that's the only reason why I'm a little bit happy about it, because Chelsea will be fine in the end and they will be incredibly strong next year. But this is just as an example on highest level. No, we cannot do it like that. That's not, and that's what we will not do. We will not just, it's not about splashing the cash. You have to bring in the right players and build a new team. So this team wrote a sensational story. Well, now we start a new one. That's it.
So just a few players.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. A couple of really interesting points made by Jurgen Klopp over here. You can't have 2 training pitches. You have to build relationships. It's very important. You can't just be throwing money for the sake of throwing money to bring in all these players. It's got to be the right characters as well. It's got to be the right profile that fits. What type of football do you want to play? You can't just be bringing and influxing a team with a whole heap of players that you don't have plans for. Look, I've said it and I've maintained saying this for so long, because some fans come at me at times saying, oh, but you were happy when all of these players. Of course, I'm a fan. Of course, I'm going to be happy when these new toys are brought into the club. But when you actually stop and think, none of us wanted 8 or whatever many players that came through in January. None of us wanted so many young players. If anything, I think most of us just wanted, firstly, a defensive midfielder. A lot of us wanted a creative type of an attacker. Maybe a right-sided player for Reece James because of his injury. But everything else we could have waited for the summer window. Even with the striker, we wanted to give Aubameyang a chance. David Datra Fofana came in. We thought, okay, give him a chance. But we've persevered with Kai Havertz. And now we're in a situation where, Kai is not the answer, so we need to get another striker. So we have to stop, as Thiago Silva has said. We have to stop. Before we buy any players in the summer, we got to get rid of players. I can already see so many fans asking for this player, that player, Harry Kane, defensive midfielder. Defensive midfielder for me is paramount, number 1. That is something we need to do. That is a weakness for us. We need a particular player that can sit deep and be disciplined and do the simple things. Like watch over the particular team and just play the simple passes. Much like what Pep Guardiola said recently in regards to Rodri. Rodri used to run around a lot, but then Pep said, calm it down. You don't need to be in many places. Stay where you are in central midfield. Simple passes. Watch. You've got the broad perspective of the team. You need to make sure which way the game is going, which way the play is going, and you need to be there in order to win the ball back quickly and then distribute it out again. Yes, seek the right moment to bomb forward to score those goals that Rodri does. But don't be so erratic where you're just non-stop everywhere and anywhere, because the team will lose its shape. These are the things we have to understand. When Poch comes in, the first thing I want to see from Poch, before he can even ask for players, is how do I want to play? How do I picture the kind of football that I want to play with Chelsea Football Club? Press from the front, high intensity, fullbacks overlapping, wingers wide, this, that, the other. Do you know what I mean? Or wingers playing in the half spaces, central midfielders, being the engineers and making sure there's full control of the game, possession based. Like, you just have to work out how do you want to play. And then you look at the squad and you go, okay, these are the players that are core to my belief, core to my philosophy, core to my structure. I want to keep them. Then I want to build the team around them with this players. And then, okay, do you know what? These are the group of players that are a bit of a misfit. They need to go. And this are the weaknesses. We need to go to the market, or we need to go to the academy. We need to try and sort this out. And this is how I want to play for the upcoming season. And then we'll see what happens seasons after. And this is the target. We can't. Jurgen Klopp's right. You got to build a team at this highest level. You can't just be throwing. We've done a madness over the last 2 transfer windows. Some of the players that we brought in don't even start anymore. Frank Lampard, with his mad starting lineups that he's putting up in the last couple of matches, he don't even start Mudryk and Noni Madueke. Mudryk, a player that we paid 100 million for. You'd think now, with nothing to play, would build up for the next manager and for the future. And the future has to be Mudryk. The future has to be Noni Madueke. Yet he's starting, N'Golo Kante as one of the wingers, and Gallagher up front with Sterling. Like, it's actually mad. It's actually mad. Where is the planning? Where is the thought process? And trimming down the squad is absolutely paramount. Absolutely paramount, ladies and gentlemen. This is what Thomas Frank had to say. Like, there's managers out there that have a lot to say about us now, because we are the perfect example of how not to build a team. Perfect example. Because these guys are going out there and doing it for far less money and doing it very, very effectively. They're making a mockery of us. Lopetegui recently said as well, after the win he had against Chelsea, I think the next match was against Leicester or someone, I can't remember, maybe it was Brentford. He said the Brentford game was going to be a lot different. It's going to be a lot more difficult. Lopetegui saying that Chelsea game, asked nothing to, it's not difficult. It's pretty much what he was trying to say. Thomas Frank as well, recently post-match, after they defeated us, said he was very surprised by the level of respect we showed them with the lineup that we came up with at Stamford Bridge. He said, thank you for such respect. This is what he's saying now. I think to be named there, top 6 club, you have to be there consistently. Probably could use 600 million over 2 transfer windows, for example. I mean, taking the absolute mick. Further goes on to say, Thomas Frank on Chelsea, I know they have struggled this season. In general, I believe you shouldn't sign that many players. I'm not the one to judge, but I believe in a small squad. I think that's better. If it's right or wrong, I don't know. But I think that is a big logistical issue to make a plan with, let's say, 30 outfield players and all of them are senior pros. How do you keep everyone happy if you have even more, if you have even more unhappy players, how do you create a tight bunch? That could be some of the issues. As Jurgen Klopp said in the clip as well, we didn't make it. We gave an impossible task to our managers, even with Frank Lampard. And Frank Lampard, for me, is not even qualified to be a manager. I mean, Potter, at least we can say, yeah, he's a manager. And it was difficult for him. And for Frank Lampard, it's an absolute, no-brainer that this is too much. This is too much. I'm not surprised that we're losing 5 out of 5 losses under Frank Lampard, which will potentially become 6 out of 6 against Arsenal. And it will probably continue like that. I don't see us winning a single game under Frank. But it's not his fault. It's an impossible task. It's an impossible task. And this is something that we definitely need to address. And maybe these are some of the reasons why the Pochettino announcement is delayed. They're probably working out on all of this stuff. Poch is a smart guy. As much as I believe and I mock about the whole situation that he's a yes man, to a certain degree, you have to be, I suppose. And I think he is, but I don't think he'll bend over backwards for every single matter. And he's probably, jotting down all the things that needs to be clarified. And I hope he does get things clarified before taking up the job. And this is probably one of the reasons why it's taken a bit of time, because I strongly believe not everyone in the board level are in unison where, they believe in Poch. Maybe there are a couple of people in the board that believed in Enrique. Maybe some believed in Nagelsmann. I think the majority now does believe in Poch, but it's not a unanimous sort of decision as yet. This is probably one of the reasons why it's taken a bit more time, along with the reason why, Poch probably just putting down the marker as to what he wants, what he expects, and what needs to be done before he joins in. So, yeah. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, let me know about this particular situation, what you saw from Klopp, what you're now seeing, the comments from Thomas Frank. How do you feel about this? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think this has been one of the biggest factors of why we've suffered this season? And this is something that we must rectify in the coming season, where a smaller squad, we don't have Europe as well, a smaller, just the average squad that everyone else has, and really work on chemistry. Really, really, one of the biggest examples right now is Brighton Football Club. The way Brighton are playing their football is unbelievable. And the conveyor belt of their production of quality players is just continuing. And Julia and Cissé. And they've added a few more other new players as well. Julia and Cissé, for me, is going to be the next £80 million player in Brighton very, very soon. And Roberto De Zerbi is getting praise left, right, and centre from every top manager out there. Brighton showing us you don't need to just throw money. You just got to be so smart. So smart. All right, next up, ladies and gentlemen. What I even say about this. This is our pre-season schedule. We're about to make another mistake. We really are. Have a look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Wednesday, 19th July, Chelsea versus Wrexham. That's in UK, which is fine. Saturday, 22nd July, so 19th. That's like literally like 3 days later. They're in Philadelphia playing against Brighton. 4 days later, playing against Newcastle in Atlanta. Sunday, 30th July, Chelsea versus Fulham. Landover. Wednesday, 2nd August, Chelsea versus Dortmund, Chicago. What's the gaps between? There's about 3 days, 4 days, 4 days, and it's about 3 days here. Is this meant to be a preseason where we want to just destroy the living daylights of the players traveling non-stop, and then by the time Premier League starts, they're all tired already? This preseason, we've got to nail it. This isn't some sort of a commercial situation. How many games is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games. Probably could have done with 3, max 4. Have a little bit more space in between to work on some game plan and work on some, training drills, work on some structure, some style that we want to carry on in the new season. Have a look at this. Eunice sent me a clip on WhatsApp, and I want to share this with you guys. This is exactly what's happening in regards to the travel.
Check this out, lads. So this is the eastern coast of the United States, right? The whole east of the US. And this is what we're actually doing. Just to get an idea. We start off our first game in Chapel Hill, right? We go up to Philadelphia. We then come down to Atlanta.
Oh, Chapel Hill is in America. Is also the game against Wrexham is in America too. I thought it was in UK. So yeah.
Atlanta, not Atalanta, to Atlanta. And then we go back up again to Landover. And then we shift across to Chicago. A total of 2,540 miles of travel. Now, I understand that's going to be done by plane. But each way is a 2-hour flight. Some may be 1 hour 40, 1 hour 50. In the space of the days that we have to do this and play those 5 games right before the season starts, we're doing the exact same mistake we done last preseason. We went from Nevada to Charlotte, if I'm not mistaken, down to Orlando. And then we came back, didn't we? And then we went to Italy and then came back again. It's the same mistake again. It's the same mistake again, man. We're putting commercial stuff before footballing stuff right now. Concerning.
True. Once again, we're putting commercial, aspirations ahead of footballing aspirations. I get it. Football is a business, and we need to, take the most advantage out of this situation. American owners, they're going to be buzzing. Chelsea's coming to their town. Stadiums are going to be full. Lots of money to be made. But this was one of the issues last season where some players took it as a holiday. And I know, okay, this time around, Poch will have to set the right mindset. But even then, like all that travel, man, I know it's by plane, but still, you want to be able to set camp in one place and really focus like a boot camp. Not have a rodeo show. Do you know what I mean? Go out there and showcase your club to all of these states. We have to be serious in this preseason. We messed this up. I'm telling you, I said this yesterday. People want to come top 4 next season with a silverware in a domestic run. Don't worry about the top teams. Worry about your Brightons, your Aston Villas, your Brentfords, your Fulhams. Worry about them if we can compete against them. Because those clubs are moving right away from us. But yeah, once again, ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you think about this lineup of preseason matches and the lack of days in between to really work on, your training drills and work on a structure for next season, a style of football for next season. With all the players that we need to get rid of, and so many more will come back from loans as well. I truly hope we nail it, man. Honestly, I truly hope we nail it. I truly hope Poch knows exactly what he wants to do and he executes it, because we as a fan base won't be able to handle it if we have to go through another season like this next season. Last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, Pochettino is waiting calmly for Chelsea's decision. If he is chosen, they will finalize some details. Hopefully we don't fumble this, man. Hopefully we don't fumble this and we get this happening. I truly think it's just down to them, some final details as to what Poch probably wants from the squad and probably what the owners can give as well. And I'm hoping that after the Arsenal game, we do hear something. We need it. We badly need to ensure and just close this chapter off and know who our next manager is so that we can all focus for the next season. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you thought about everything we've spoken about today. Smash the like button if you've enjoyed this. If you're here for the first time, subscribe, hit the bell notification to stay in touch with all my content. Till next time, see ya.